After giving False Prophets a listen, there's a very unlikely song that I had thought about that I could liken it to as far as J. Cole's tactic about talking to Kanye and to Wale, but just put together. And we'll get to Wale's Groundhog Day in just a second. If you think back at Eminem's I Need a Doctor, it's sort of a combination of False Prophets. Because what Eminem did was Eminem basically put Dre's business out on Front Street and called him out, but in a very caring manner, in a very passive manner, though at the same time just poking his chest. The only difference with that song and why it never had the lasting power, why it didn't really live, is because it was done in-house. Right after Eminem was done with what he had to say, then came Dre's verse. So it took away a little bit from it because you consider the fact that when it was being written in the studio, Dre already knew what was going to be said. So that sort of takes away the impact of what Eminem was really trying to get across. This is very different. This is not in-house. This is J. Cole calling out Kanye. In my mind, this is sort of the record that that Cudi should have made against Kanye. You know, this would have been the I you know, you were my idol. What happened to you? But I guess whatever happened with them was something more personal, and it's not really anything on the music level, because when Cole addresses it, he pretty much addresses it from the same vantage point that we have. You know, him claiming to be a god. Him crying out for help and always bloviating in fucking interviews and just being crazy. So he seems like he's talking about it from a fan's perspective. He doesn't really have any insider information. As far as the diss to Wale, I wasn't interested in that initially because Wale's never been a topic that's really interested me at all. But on the Groundhog Day, I mean, Wale just basically admitted it. He just said, well, that was constructive criticism. There was a lot of truth to what Cole said, but guess what? I've been depressed. And yeah, maybe people don't fuck with me. This theme of depression, it's really happening more frequently now when you notice. Rappers are starting to admit that they're depressed, which is what would lead somebody to take a lot of pills and to those are the trappings of depression. And, just wait for Lil Wayne to make his big grand announcement about his depression about a year from now, if he hasn't already made it. But as I said, this approach that Cole took was, it could be considered a diss. Absolutely. When you consider what he says at the end, he's going to put something else out, but it's not going to top anything else. So that's marginalize in the tone of Kanye. It's marginalizing Kanye. It's saying that, well, your best material is on my MP3 device. We're not going to hear anything better from you, and you've fallen from grace. That one line that he says about this whole time you find out who he really is. When I heard that line, I thought about that Dave Chappelle interview. That interview where Dave Chappelle, I believe he was on the Tonight Show, one of those goofy shows that no one watches. And he was telling them about a story about the very first time that he had encountered Kanye, and the Black Album had just come out, and he was there with Common, and he was there with Talib. And, Moment of Clarity played, and, Common heard the line that Jay-Z had to say about him, and then Talib heard the line about him. And, a Kanye song came on later on that night, and when Kanye heard it, Kanye, out of nowhere, he just said, "Hold up, rewind that." And Dave and everybody else in the room was sort of befuddled. They were like, who the fuck is this guy? But that sort of speaks to the arrogance that's always been there. Of course, what we could say about Kanye is that what was once confidence, which turned into arrogance, which most people can tolerate, turned into fucking just sheer narcissism and just a wrath of me. And that's obviously what Cole's addressing on the False Prophet song. Cole can obviously speak about this because he is aware of the trappings of having people in your surroundings that pretty much agree to everything that you have to say, and just being a creator that influences the lives of many. And I figure he understands how that could affect someone, but obviously Cole hasn't let it affect him, so he then feels that he could sort of make a judgment call on Kanye. Well, I would be very interested to see how Kanye, or what Kanye does. My first guess would be that he would say something at a show. Next week, you can probably expect Kanye to just say, J.Cole, I ain't no false prophet. Where's my croissant? Something fucking stupid like that. You don't know what he's going to say, or if it's just going to be something that's deaded on Twitter, or a random picture on Instagram like, this is my brother, we're both kings, stuff like that. What you should really appreciate is the fact that Cole is putting himself out there on that front. I can't say that I am 100% confident that if somebody came at Cole full speed ahead, which Wale didn't do, and through no point, between the grace period of the dropping of Groundhog Day and False Prophets, which was yesterday, I didn't think, when Wale hears this, shit's about to go down. I mean, even if Wale chose to go at him, I really don't think it would add up to much. But he didn't. He agreed with him. Constructive criticism. We're friends. We're going to dap it up. And that's that. But I would question that if somebody went at Cole full speed ahead, I don't know. I can't confidently say that I think that Cole would hold his own. Of course, people said that about Drake, and then, you found out the contrary. But with Cole, I would think that his tendency of sort of being a little laxed sometimes on tracks. I mean, when you heard the Black Friday track with him and Kendrick on it, I mean, despite the fact that Kendrick was amazing on that track, I just wanted to hear Cole really get at it, and I was just like, Cole, what are you doing, And again, look, Cole decides to address Kanye on Joey Badass's Waves. I mean, who would hear that record and say, you know what? I'm going to address him on that track, or I'm going to address that whatever person on that track. Another thing that I want to mention is, the One Day track that Cole also dropped, where he takes a shot at the little whatevers. I love the fact that a young artist is calling a young artist who's respected, as I like to say, both artistically and commercially, who's respected on both fronts. They are taking shots at the people who, basically don't try and who seem to have no talent whatsoever. Because you can't hear them say it and say, well, J. Cole is obviously jealous because Lil Yachty was on a Sprite commercial. See, it doesn't even sound right. See, even when I said that, I should have slapped myself and told myself to shut the fuck up, because it makes no sense. And that's what makes it refreshing that Cole were to take a general shot at the little whatevers. And so it's this could be a wave. This could be a wave. These artists that are successful on both fronts, who really lock down that duality, can become the biggest tastemakers in the game, or are the greatest tastemakers in the game. So maybe if Cole speaks, maybe this trickles down. Maybe somebody else mentions something. Because today in the game, it seems like everybody's too buddy, and they think that friction necessarily means conflict. But nothing that Cole said on the record anybody would take offense to. I can't see Lil Yachty, getting into it like Soulja Boy and him went at it and making, Instagram videos at each other and cursing each other out. I just can't see it because it would be uncalled for. but it is refreshing to see somebody like Cole take that approach against these rappers that seem to have no talent. They don't seem to have talent. They don't have talent. And if they do have talent, they surely haven't exercised that muscle. What do you guys think about false prophets? What do you think about Groundhog Day? I'm more than sure that, most of us would agree that everything that was said about Kanye is pretty spot on. But do you think Kanye will retaliate? Wale retaliated pretty quickly, and, that might be because, Wale isn't really in the news cycle much, so it would make sense for Wale to jump on this. However, what would have made his attention spike way more is if he actually went at Cole and not agreed with Cole, but that's neither here nor there. What did you guys think about the track False Prophets? What did you think about One Day? Is it One Day, or is it officially Everybody's Gotta Die? I guess it's Everybody's Gotta Die. It's one of the two. But I'm anticipating For Your Eyes Only dropping next week. But what do you guys think about the track? Please let me know in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time.